Prasar Bharati, in collaboration with National Book Trust India, presents Story Lounge on All India Radio.
Contrary to popular perception, reading habits are not on the wane due to multiple sources of information emerging on digital platforms. Yet, book publishing is on a downslide. This ultimately affects people who are on the wrong side of the digital divide and cannot afford new gadgets. To support them, Prasar Bharati and National Book Trust have come together to promote books over the radio, which is an affordable medium in the context of our socio-economic milieu.
A bouquet of stories in Story Lounge. Today, in our program Story Lounge, we have for you a story entitled Punti's Wedding, a sensitive tale about a pond and the marriage of two fishes, and how the entire episode brings to life some essential issues which need to be addressed for a harmonious living. The commendable part of the contribution of the kids is managing a crisis situation. This is authored by Dipanwita Roy.
Hi children, I am Dipanwita Roy. Today I am going to read out my story Punti's Wedding. The illustrator of the book is Debabrata Ghosh. The book is published by National Book Trust India under its Nehru Bal Pustakalaya. There is a big pond in the midst of a big locality. During monsoon, the sky above darkens with dense black clouds. Beneath their shadow, the waters of the ponds also appear dark and deep. The pond was once surrounded by tal and palmyra trees. Now, of course, there are not many trees left. A lot of houses have come up on all sides of the pond, but the pond is still full of different kinds of fish. Small fish like shortputi, chanda, kholche, magur, tangra, etc. live side by side with bigger fish like kalbaus, katla, rui, sole and mrigel. The great old kalbaush fish lives right in the middle of the pond, in a hole inside the soft mud. Its body is covered with black and strong scales, while its back is covered with green slime. Kalbaush doesn't often come out of his hole. The fish of the pond respect him very much and come to him for advice. Today is a special day. Today Punti is going to wed Kholche. The great Kalbaush has promised to grace the occasion to bless the bride and bridegroom. He will give 2 scales from his back to Punti and Kholche as present. Punti is a good fish. All are fond of her and come forward to help with the preparations. And everyone is invited, of course. On one side is the jungle of reeds. The snail chef is busy preparing the great feast. Magur is busy arranging Punti's trousseau tastefully on the big open leaves of the water hyacinth. Rui and Katla, the big and dignified fish, are to welcome the guests. Punti's friends have made beautiful ornaments with shapla, a reed, and the hyacinth blossoms. Punti is looking very beautiful in these ornaments. Kholche has also indulged a little to look fine today. The frog band has been summoned. They are waiting. When the bridegroom starts from his house, they shall start croaking against the pitter-patter music of the raindrops. What ambience! What a beautiful wedding! Meanwhile, the Kalbaush has left his home for the wedding. He wants to clean his scales by rubbing them on the stones of the ghat, a sort of cemented pier. The Kalbaush looks forward to this. Humming merrily, he proceeds towards the ghat when suddenly he sees 2 men having conference under their umbrellas in that heavy rain. Hiding in the black water, Kalbaush swims closer to listen. The sides of the ponds are breaking off every now and then, says the man in the blue shirt. Any day, the waters may enter our houses. Yes, says the man in the red shirt. As soon as the monsoon rain ceases, we will pump out the water of the pond. Then we can start cementing the sides of the pond all the way to the bottom. Kalbaush is shocked. His old scales rise up in fear. He swims deep down. At the wedding party, he doesn't utter a word to anyone. But early next morning, the message is passed around. At midnight, the fish listen to the great Kalbaush in shocked silence. Cementing the sides of the ponds. That means no food for the fishes. No sage growing in the water. No water creatures. What will the fish eat then? No, the pond cannot have its sides cemented, they declared. The trees who had bent their branches down to listen to the meeting also nodded their leaves in agreement. But no one could find a way out. At last, Chorkaburi, the old dame in the moon, spinning her wheel, says, "Wait, and let me see what I can do. Just leave it to me." Bukum, Tubai, Diya, Tupur, Bumba, and many other small children living in the houses around the pond came to the pond every evening. They loved to watch the fish nibble at the muri or puffed rice that they threw in the water. But for 3 days, no fish was coming up to nibble at the muri. Not even one. The children feel very sad. Something was terribly wrong. That night, all the children dreamt a strange dream. They see all the fish gather at the center of the pond and cry, and the Chorkaburi is consoling them. The next day after school, children head straight for the ghat. Yes, the dream was true. It meant the fish were in some trouble. The other night, Tupur said suddenly, "My grandpa was telling my father not to cement the sides of the pond. He said that this would kill all the fish and creatures of the water." "And what did your father say?" asked Bukum. Father didn't want to listen, but Grandpa kept saying that more trees could be planted along the banks to prevent the banks from breaking off. Diya said, "Now I understand. The fish must have heard the news and were crying. Something must be done to save the fish, isn't it?" The afternoon turned to evening. None of the children in the locality went home, and parents had to come to fetch them. Children resisted and said that they were not going home until they were heard. Requests, scolding, and threats followed, but nothing deterred the children. Finally, the elders had to give up their plan of cementing the sides of the pond. Instead, they decided to plant many new saplings that would grow up to become big trees. "Hurrah!" shouted the children in joy. "Now come home," pleaded the parents. "No, not right now," said grandfather. "Today I will tell them some stories." Grandfather sat down and children eagerly drew closer. The Chorkaburi smiled from the sky, and the fish slowly came up to the nibble at the muri the children had sprinkled on the water. And so the fishes lived happily in the pond. Hope children you all like the story very much.
You were listening to Story Lounge, produced by the World Service of All India Radio on behalf of Prasar Bharati in association with National Book Trust, India.
Story Lounge comes to you every day, same time, same channel.